Thank you, Nandini. Good to see you, Ayush sir. We are
Thank you so
having
much, ma'am.
a student representative, Miss Nandini Puri, and she'll be taking charge of the session today, and she'll be introducing you
Sure,
to the students.
sure.
So Nandini, you can
उल्टे
start,
सीधे
please.
ESR आया ESR किसी को पता है ESR क्या होता है बोलो
I think there is a disturbance.
Yes, I have muted.
So, hi everyone. So, we'll be starting up with the session. The guest of the session today is Mr. Ayush Tripathi, who is an Associate Vice President at Quadra Technologies, Noida. Mr. Ayush is a techno-functional professional holding multiple certifications in the CRM ecosystem, having in-depth understanding of framing businesses and technological solutions, and an expertise in CRM solutions focused on Salesforce. A master's degree in information technology and analytics awarded by Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, a Beta Gamma Sigma honoree, which is the highest recognition received by business scholars internationally at a business program accredited by AACSB International. A professional in the field of consulting who has also played a vital role in providing solutions for way organized to connect with their customers, optimize their operations, and drive sustainable growth. We welcome Mr. Ayush Tripathi for the session on CRM softwares and look forward to gain valuable insights from his wealth of knowledge and experience. We welcome you, sir. You may start now.
Okay, was I speaking on mute? Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you so
I
much for
think
that,
there is some
Nandini. Thank
poor
you so
network
much, Dr. Jain.
quality. Yes, sir. We are able to hear you.
Perfect,
So,
perfect. Thank you so much for
Ayush, I
this.
think you can start with the session.
Great, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, I think there's some issue at my side because of which I'm not able to see, a lot of you over here. I'm not sure if we have the entire full house available or not. But regardless of that, I think we'll start the conversation right now. It would be great if we can have this session as a dialogue conversation rather than a simple monologuous one. Uh, Guys, thank you so much for joining us. There was a time when I was into similar shoes. I was probably on the receiving end of such conversations, and I know this can sound somewhat boring to you. So I understand that part. Having said that, we'll try to keep this session kind of interactive in terms of not just limiting it to theoretical, but rather taking it a step forward and talking about how CRM systems actually work, how organizations leverage CRM solutions, and on top of that, what kind of use cases do customers actually feel relevant for themselves. So what I've done today is, I think this is something which might relate to you as well. We'll talk about one specific solution provider in the field of CRM solutions that has been dominating the ecosystem for the past 20 years now. But before going to all of that, let me quickly pull up my screen. I would request any one of you can quickly confirm if at all my screen is visible or not, and then we'll take this thing forward. Also, guys, just a simple request from my side. Rather than keeping this session, like I mentioned, a monologuous one wherein I keep on talking and probably towards the end of the session, you guys leave the conversation. I'll be more than happy if any one of you at any point of time feels that there's a question which needs to be addressed, there's something which needs to be retold or recollected. I'll be very happy if you can just quickly raise your hand. We can have that answered right away itself. Because whatever we are talking about right now, I'm sure most of you are students in the B school and probably are looking for somewhat of a career into technology, into consulting. I think consulting is something which probably resonates with both of our thought processes. So I'll be more than happy to consult all of these topics and touch base upon each and every one of them. Let me quickly pull up my screen, and for better bandwidth, I'll also shut off my camera for now. Okay, is my screen visible to you?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes,
Ayush.
sir.
It is visual.
Perfect. So we'll start things off in a very simple manner. We'll talk about the organization that I represent right now. So the name of the organization is Quadra Technologies. Now, Quadra as an organization has been in the ecosystem for around 5 odd years. Having said that, if any one of you goes back into the history of it, this is an organization which got started 7 years back. We acquired another organization, did the rebranding, and then renamed it as Quadra. Basically, if you go into the etymology of it, basically it was started by 4 different members, and that's where the name comes from. Essentially, in a nutshell, if you talk about the organization, we are an IT consulting organization. Now, from a, again, portfolio standpoint, we are a team of around 250 odd people. We operate out of Noida, very close to where I think most of you are situated. We are in Sector 19, Noida. That's where the entire development center resides. We've had around 100 odd implementations on an enterprise level. Now, why these specific words are mentioned over here, we'll also talk about that in a moment. From a compliance standpoint, there are certain compliance certifications. There are certain certifications in terms of working with PSUs that needs to be there in place so that one can start engaging with such customers. So that's where we are awarded with a CMMI level 5 compliant organization. We have ISO 27001, 9001. And this is the second year in a row we got aggregated by the Great Places to Work organizations as well. So essentially, this slide would encapsulate each and everything when we talk about how it is exactly that we do what we do, and then of course how do we differentiate ourselves in a very simple fashion. These are the four practice pillars, if I may say so, on which Quadra stands at the moment. First things first, like I told you, we are a consulting first organization, so there are certain terms which I think most of you might come across on a day-to-day basis, which talks about process consulting, which talks about technology consulting, talk about data consulting, consulting customers on their overall enterprise architecture, doing program management services for customers, and then, of course, your marketing channel communication, your cybersecurity services, things of similar nature. Now, how these things come into picture is, I think most of us understand right now is that the most important and valuable thing at the moment is data. Now, for those of you who probably come from a tech background, who understands very basics about data, data can be classified into structured and non-structured data. Unless and until one of you probably has an understanding that
Yeah.
Hmm. Sorry, I think one of you is on mute.
Yes, yes. I'm going to mute them all. Sorry for that.
No worries.
You-
So,
Yeah.
like I was talking about data in the terms of consulting,
Ayush, you got muted.
am I audible now?
Yes, 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 you're audible.
Perfect. So what I was talking about in terms of data is basically, unless and until a customer who has probably terabytes and gigabytes of data at their residence, at their premises, if at all they're not able to decipher certain meaningful insights out of that data is absolutely of no use to them. That's where the entire data consulting approach comes into picture. So I'll give you a very simple example of this. I think a couple of you might be able to resonate to this. When we talk about data sources in general, data sources can be of multiple types. For example, anyone could have data residing onto Excel sheets, as simple as that. I'm sure in your projects as well, you guys go through certain Excel sheets every now and then wherein you populate certain data sources. So that's one specific type of data which we call as flat files in the ecosystem. In a similar fashion, I'm not sure if you understand ERP solutions at the moment, which is basically enterprise resource planning solutions. Just try and imagine it to be a hard drive for that matter.
They
That's
do have a
one different
basic
type of data
idea.
source.
They do have a
Perfect.
basic idea of ERP because in Amity also we use such a thing.
Perfect. So basically what happens is, guys, when we talk about such data solutions, data sources, basically what I'm trying to convey is that data can reside in multiple matters, multiple types, and multiple origins. What needs to be done is basically a process which is called as an ETL. So E for extraction, T for transformation, and L for loading. Now, what we do in such processes is we extract data from all these different third-party data sources. This is the first part of it, which is extraction of data from multiple sources, transform them into one single format. Let's say, taking a hypothetical example, if all the data has been transformed into simple Excel sheets, for that matter, flat files. This is the transformation phase. Post that, you load that data into a third party solution. This third party solution could be a CRM solution, could be as simple as a BI solution, which basically is your business intelligence tools. I'm sure a couple of you might have heard of tools like Click, Tableau, Power BI. So these are basically Power BI, Tableau, Click, and tools of similar nature are called as business intelligence tools. Now, what these tools do basically is helping you into certain advanced analytics and forecasting. If at all organizations would want to set up certain KPIs in their system, which basically are key performance indicators. How do you track the overall health check of an organization? This is where this entire thing comes into picture. So this essentially is the first part of services which we as an organization has to offer to customers in terms of consulting. In simple words, if I were to simplify this thing for you, is helping understand requirements of a customer, that what is it exactly that this person might need. Now, once this requirement has been finalized, let's say, for example, I come to a situation wherein I know that for a fact a customer A has a requirement B. What we do is we go forward and we propose them certain solutions onto other OEM partners with whom we are engaged with. Now, as an organization, Quadra works as a platinum implementation and consulting partners with Salesforce. I don't know if you might or might know about Salesforce as a CRM solution. I'm sure most of you might have heard of this name if you're studying customer relationship management in your curriculum right now. So Salesforce is one such organization which works on a partner eco-based system. Each of these OEMs could be Salesforce, could be SAP, could be Liferay, could be your Zohos of the world. Each of these OEMs basically works are these are basically SaaS solutions, which is software as a service solution. Ideally, what these organizations do is they grant access to their end customers to something which is called as a platform. Now, whatever development that needs to be done on that platform, that is being carried out by a third party organization, which is called a partner in their case. We as Quadrafort are one of their platinum, which is the top tier implementation and consulting partners to them. So the second part of the entire practice pillar talks about strategic partnership services, which includes your implementation, integration with third-party systems, migration, which is lift and shift of data. Today, let's say, again, taking an example, Amity might be using Excel sheets to calculate their entire database. Tomorrow, if Amity moves to a CRM solution, they will absolutely need access to their existing set of data, which needs to be shifted to these CRM solutions. This is called lift and shift of data. Then, of course, once we do this, I'm sure the first question would come to mind is how are we using this? That's where channel management or change management comes into picture, wherein we help these customers adopt to these solutions. So this is the entire conversation that revolves around strategic partnerships. Third, we also acquired an organization which was into full stack development, wherein we developed our own practice of full stack development, which is basically your custom app development. And finally, we again have certain in-house tools or in-house products available which can be leveraged by customers, which is one of them is QConnect. Now, if at all, you might have heard of a solution called as a CTI solution, which is a cloud telephony solution. Now, these solutions basically are call center solutions, which enables call centers and third-party agencies to a soft phone wherein their internal calling team, their internal service team can start catering to that. A very simple example could be a Zomato or a Swiggy for that matter. If at all you try and raise a conversation with Zomato and if that chat doesn't work out for you, you might want to raise a complaint with them on a phone call. So this is where the entire CTI system comes into place. So essentially, in a nutshell, this is what we as an organization do in terms of helping customers adapt to technology, driving their entire digital transformation processes. Now, coming on to the, addressing just the elephant of the room right now, which is the CRM solution that has been in place right now. The CRM solution we are focusing on right now is called as Salesforce. Uh, a very simple question. I was hoping if this could happen in an in-person session, it would have been much better for us. But if any one of you can help me understand, any one of you, what do you understand actually by a CRM? I'm sure the abbreviation stands for customer relationship management. But if anybody feels, the need to do that, if somebody can help me on that, what do you mean by a CRM solution? Anyone? No worries, we'll
Uh,
take it forward.
yes, sir, I would like to answer.
Perfect.
It's managing customer relationship and interactions with customer and potential customers.
Okay, may I know your name, please?
Jasmine.
Perfect. Jasmine, when we talk about interacting relationships and enhancing relationships with customer, I think That's the key aspect of a CRM solution. You are very right when you say this, that a CRM solution essentially is a tool or a service or a solution which is used to interact with your end customers. And that's what this particular slide talks about. Now, when we talk about Salesforce as a solution, basically this current donut, if I may call it, encapsulates each and every services that Salesforce has to offer to their end customers. For example, what Salesforce has done is Salesforce is not just a CRM solution right now. As the definition goes, that it is basically used for interacting and enabling you to probably enhance your relationships with your customers. We are not just talking about capturing sales processes. What Salesforce has done on the top of that is it has developed certain SKUs, stock keeping units, or products, if you may call that. Now, these products basically talk about the entire life cycle of a customer. So, what we do is we position our customer at the center of all these products, which basically talks about improving and improvising their entire processes in terms of sales, in terms of services, marketing, e-commerce, so on and so forth. Very quickly, if I touch base upon each of them at a time, basically Salesforce, a solution which was started around 2 decades back, started with a very simple concept of having a platform in place wherein customers should be able to, or rather we as sales agents should be able to keep a track on how exactly is it that we're progressing on our day-to-day jobs. So that's where the first product comes into place, which keeps a track on their entire sales process, which is called as the Sales Cloud. Now, before going on to that, each of these products has a word cloud associated with it. A simple reason for that is because this particular solution or these set of solutions work on entirely cloud basis. They are not on-premise solutions. These are totally purely cloud solutions. Now, when I say cloud solution, I'm sure you would understand that it basically means you can have these accessed from anywhere of the world. You would not need to have access to a specific VPN. You would not need access to an on-premise server for that. Following the Sales Cloud, we have something called as the Service Cloud. Now, let's take a probably try and picture a sketch over here wherein I, as a sales executive for Quadra, for example, I'm trying to close a particular deal with a customer. Let's say Amity in this case. Now, what would I do is within my entire sales cycle, I would need to interact with multiple stakeholders at Amity. So this entire pre-sales activities in terms of what are interactions that are happening every day, all of this is being covered in your day-to-day sales process. Once the deal is closed, once you have your orders signed, that is where the customer service team comes into picture. Customer service essentially is managing end customers' complaints. How are these tickets coming into picture? Who is it getting assigned to? What are the different SLAs and milestones that is run on top of that? And how do we end to end resolve that particular complaint is what customer service tool called as Service Cloud takes care of. Followed by that, there's a third product which is called as a Marketing Cloud, which basically takes care of all the marketing related activities in the particular CRM. Could be as simple as email campaigns, could be social media campaigns, which you do on WhatsApp, which you do on social media systems like Instagram, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Fourth, we have a solution which is called as the Commerce Cloud. Now, Commerce Cloud basically is a platform wherein you, as end customer, shall be able to develop your own websites, your own e-commerce platforms. A direct competitor to this could be a Magento or a Shopify. So basically, in cases wherein I'll take an example, I'm sure most of you have visited the website for Puma, which is your retail brand. Now, whatever you do on Puma, whatever you, let's say you buy a pair of shoes or a pair of sneakers, all of that is built on the Salesforce Commerce Cloud. The entire website is being run on the Salesforce Commerce Cloud. On top of that, if let's say, for example, you would want a need to access certain advanced analytics in terms of certain data visualization, reporting, MIS, for that, Salesforce acquired an organization called as Tableau in 2020. So this basically is now a Salesforce acquired organization wherein you can run your own advanced analytics. You can use, technologies like R, Python to do certain machine learning algorithms as well. On top of that, if you want to have certain forecasting done, you can use and leverage this application for that as well. So the entire gamut of products basically talks about all these different solutions that Salesforce has to offer to their end customers. All of this basically is built on something called as a platform, which is there at the lowermost bottom of the screen available over here. So each of these applications, we talk about sales, service, marketing, all of this basically is built on the platform which is available on the Salesforce entire ecosystem. Any questions, any thoughts up till now? Anybody?
Students, do you
Perfect.
have any question? You can put it in the chat as well.
Now I know these.
Uh, question.
Sure.
Yes, 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 Jasmine.
So how is this application different from other CRM softwares or applications?
Okay, I think that's a very fair question. Now, when we talk about comparing Salesforce with other CRM solutions, the first thing which comes to my mind is Salesforce is not just a CRM solution. When we talk about competing it with the likes of tools like, let's say, a Lead Squared, uh, have you heard of the word Lead Squared? Now, Lead Squared is one solution provider which basically focuses on your sales process. How it differentiates from how Salesforce basically differentiates from such solutions is in terms of scalability. When we call this a platform, basically it enables us to build anything that has a defined logic. Tomorrow, if you want to build your entire student management portal on top of Salesforce, you have the provision of going ahead and doing that. Matter of fact is there are customers out there in the market who are actually leveraging Salesforce for their entire recruitment cycle, for their entire admission cycle. For students like you, let's say, for example, if tomorrow an organization, or rather a couple of organizations, are hosting certain recruiting events for Amity, you can have access to your own portal wherein you can see what all companies are visiting to the campus, what are the packages they are offering, what kind of roles they are offering. You can have provisions of applying to those companies from that portal itself. This is actually being run for organizations like IILM. So this is one such customer, Birla Bits, basically, is again leveraging Salesforce for doing these things day in, day out. So that's what differentiates Salesforce from any of these other third-party solutions like Lead Squared and Zobos of the world. You can build your entire end-to-end systems on this, except for accounting.
All
I
right,
hope that
thank you, sir.
answers.
Yes, sir,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Now we'll skip all these theoretical knowledge over here. We'll straight away go into something which I have in place for you from a system demonstration standpoint. Now, what I've done over here is I'll take you through what exactly is it that Salesforce does. I hope my screen is up, guys. You're able to see it.
Yes, we are able to see.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Now, any of these solutions basically work on a user-based model. When I say user-based, essentially what happens is every set of customer has their own set of usernames and passwords using which they log in into the platform. This essentially is the login screen, basically the landing page, wherein one of these users can fall into. The first thing which you would see on the screen is a quick dashboard. I'm sure you've heard of a dashboard in your life. You know what KPIs are. So very quickly, we'll talk about these things. First things first is, let's say, for example, I am somebody who is from the management of Quadra. So this is my internal dashboard. I can see, for example, as the CEO, what is the overall target for the organization that I had set up initially. So I can see 7.5 million was the initial target of the organization in terms of sales, in terms of business growth. Where are we standing at the moment is a mere 5.9%. So 5.9 million is what we have achieved so far. If I want to go into details of it, I can quickly judge that. Going forward, if I want to see in terms of these 5.9 million, how is it segmented region wise? Let me also maximize my screen. Okay. So I can see specific numbers in terms of, the legend talks about East, North, South, and West. So basically, what all regions are bringing what all values to the table for us. We have a quick look at that. Followed by that, I might want to see which is my top customer in terms of revenue. If I expand this, I have a list of top customers in place. That Pathkind Labs is one customer which is giving me X amount of revenue on a year-on-year basis. So essentially, guys, the idea is whatever KPIs that you might want to see on the screen in terms of your dashboards, all of those KPIs are customizable in nature. I can see what is the total number of leads my team is working on. How many of them are actually qualified leads? What are the total number of complaints that have come in? How many of those complaints are open at the moment? So, in a nutshell, the entire health check of the organization is available for me on this instance. So, this essentially is a quick look at what exactly is a CRM solution in terms of your sales and service automations. Whatever sets of leads, inquiries, you may call them prospects, you may call them inquiries. So all those inquiries that are coming into the system, that is visible onto this particular page over here. I can see a list of all the names, their basic coordinates in terms of email addresses, for example, things as simple as phone numbers. Very important thing to capture is the source of this lead. couple of years from now, once you guys would be working in different organizations, I'm sure you would also come across certain solutions wherein you would want to capture that if at all a lead is come into picture, what exactly was the source of that lead? So that tomorrow, if you want to probably fetch a report for your seniors, for your managers, that this is probably one such source. For example, Instagram. Instagram is giving me highest number of leads on a day-to-day basis. I'm getting leads from other social media handles. I'm getting leads from phone calls. So all these things would be visible to you on this component over here. As a salesperson, as a business development executive, you can quickly click on one of these leads to see what all details have been fetched so far. So essentially, guys, what I'm talking about is on this page right now, I can see what we have of a very simple CRM solution, which is basically a standard solution available in Salesforce or any other solution as well. So on the top of the screen, we have certain tabs available in terms of leads, in terms of contacts, end customers, what all opportunities are being run in the system. So these are some things which are standard available in the system. Now, I think one of you also inquired what is the difference between having Salesforce as a solution or any other solution provider as well. Now, this is where things get interesting. For example, I can quickly click on one of these customers' name. Let's say Acer, for example. Now, if I click on Acer, this is what we call a customer 360 in Salesforce. Why we call it a customer 360 is for a very simple reason. Whatever set of information that we have available with respect to a customer, all of that is visible to me onto this very screen on the panel. Could be with respect to his sales, could be with respect to the kind of complaints he's getting in the system, could be with respect to different stakeholders. For example, the name of the organization is Acer. I can see, how many days has passed since once has had, certain activities with the customer. Their basic details are mentioned over here. Their billing shipping addresses are mentioned over here. In terms of contacts, as a vendor, as let's say a sales head, these are the two people with whom I'm in touch with. Tomorrow, there could be a third person who could come in place. I can quickly create a new contact for him on the go. Going into the sales aspect, I might want to see what all different opportunities are being run over here. So I have a list of all those opportunities. How many past orders have come in from Acer? All those orders are also visible over here. With respect to these orders, I'm sure certain invoices or certain bills have also been generated. All those bills are also captured over here. So this is why we refer to this page as a 360-degree view of a customer. In terms of complaints, if at all Acer has raised any complaints with me in the past, all those complaints are also visible over here. Now, Salesforce works on a very beautiful functionality called as a DAR approach, which essentially is dashboarding, analysis, and reporting. Now, what I mean by DAR approach is, let me take an example for that. Going back onto my home screen wherein I have all the dashboards handy for me, beneath every KPI, there is a hyperlink available, which talks about a certain report. So basically, if I talk about these dashboards and reports, all of these dashboards are getting fetched or getting created via certain reports that are there in the system. If you want to see a list of all your reports, let's say, for example, via target versus achievement, I want to see a detailed view of this. I can quickly click on this particular hyperlink, which will take me to the source report from where this dashboard is getting created. So if I open this particular page will talk about the particular report, which basically aims to give me a quick look at the entire target versus achievement. I can see a list of all the different organizations with whom I've closed business with, whether this was a new business for me, whether this was some add-on business for me, what was the amount of that business, when did this business close for me. All those details are available over here. So this is what I meant when I said a dashboarding analysis and a reporting approach. Now, as the CEO, I can quickly go and I can export this into an Excel sheet if I want to use it for my internal analysis. Now, this automatically gets created and this download is available for me in my local device over here. This essentially, guys, is a quick look at what we have as certain standard features in a standard CRM solution. Going a step ahead, I was talking about a specific use case wherein organizations are actually leveraging Salesforce for their organizations. By organizations, I mean basically higher education institutes like Amity. These organizations are leveraging Salesforce for their internal recruitment, admissions, student placement, student success cycles. So for that also, I've created something which is available right over here. Now, this is a very customized thing which we have in place for you. For example, if tomorrow Amity starts using Salesforce, this is an ideal look of how it would look like to you. How many applications have come in so far? How many of them were for undergraduate courses? How many of them were for postgraduate courses? What are the total number of applications that have come in place? This is what I was talking about in terms of leads. So I can see that there are leads coming in for admissions via web forms, via social media campaigns, via text messages campaigns, via recruitment events. All these things are available over here. How many applications have been reviewed so far? How many are completed? How many are incompleted? So in a nutshell, guys, whatever analytics that we need to place in, on the particular dashboard, all those things can be built accordingly. I can see a list of all the individual customer accounts. By customers, I mean basically students. So over here is a list of all the students that we have in the system. If I click on either one of them, basically, let's say, for example, Aaron is the name of a customer or a student for me. I have Aaron's entire profile available over here in terms of how many, applications he's been a part of. So I can see that he's a part of a BA in English course. This is his individual application ID. If you want to go into the details of this particular course, you can quickly open that as well. In terms of engagements, how many engagements has Aaron had with any one of my individual, counselors for that matter? If at all he has scheduled any appointments with the in, with your individual customers or with your individual counselors, there is a section which talks about those scheduling of appointments as well. So the idea is that as an organization, as a higher education institute, whatever sets of processes that needs to be followed, whatever modus operandi that you use internally, Salesforce can go forward and set all those applications and processes in place. So over here is a list of Bachelor of Arts in English. You can quickly open any one of them. You can see which particular, college is providing this particular course. Furthermore, if I move into the student for success factor, as a director, I might want to see how many enrollments have happened so far. How many enrollments are actually happening because of certain education advisors. If I scroll down, I have a list of all the students available over here. How many students are actually open? How many advisors do we have in place? How many further new appointments have we scheduled for students in the coming, term or the coming month? So all these things are available for me onto this homepage itself. Now, essentially, this is what I wanted to showcase to you as a part of a customized experience for, Salesforce as a solution. Going ahead, let's quickly talk about something that might interest you guys as students. This is one such page that I have currently available on my screen. Now, assuming this is the page for Amity University, as a student, I have logged in onto this page. I can see that, this has been customized for me, that the page says, Ayush, hi, we're here for you. The name of the university is mentioned. I can access my profile. I can see when did I got enrolled, how many, courses or how many subjects am I registered for. If at all there is a financial aid that has been granted by the university, I can go forward and apply that. If I need to connect with my alumni, I can go forward and connect with my alumni also. There can be a separate portal for alumni interaction. If at all there are organizations or companies coming for placement, I have an entire section for career placements. Whatever sets of extracurriculars are happening, let's say your fests, your internal co-curricular fests, all those applications, all those listings are also available on the platform. Now, as let's say, for example, a student, I might want to go and see, raise a complaint for something. Let's say, for example, I need to file a complaint for some, could be for something. I can go into the support section. I can see what all complaints are there in the system. Could be complaints or complaints, issues related to dining options. So all those complaints are visible over here for me, that these are the complaints which I have filed in the past. If I want to interact with somebody, I can go into the career section. I can see what all new organizations or what all new companies are coming for placements. So essentially, the idea is that whatever sets of processes, whatever sets of logics that you can think of, each of those things can be built onto the platform, could be customized and could be moved into a live environment. Any questions, any thoughts up till now? Is this thing making sense?
Ayush, can I please ask a question?
Absolutely, ma'am. Feel free.
Yeah. Ayush, I was interacting with the students in the class about the CRM software. So most of our students from big business families, they run family businesses. So my observation is that whatever family businesses are using any kind of software or ERP, they are majorly going for the smaller ones. Like they are going for Zoho, they are going for Sugar CRM, or they are going for Pipedrive, but they are very skeptical in using something like Salesforce. So, can you tell us what probably is the reason for that? Is it only the money involved or something else?
This is a very subjective question. If I were to put it in a very simple line, all of us would want to travel in a Mercedes. But the utility of the factor is the same purpose gets served in probably an Innova. As simple as that. On top of that, what organizations fail to understand at this moment is today, let's say, for example, we are running for an annual revenue or ARR for 50 crores, for example. This 50 crores can be very easily achieved by the likes of solutions like Sugar CRM or a Zoho. Why these solutions fail in the long run is because these are point solutions. When I say point solution, tomorrow, if you want to probably build something on top of it, you absolutely have no provisions of doing that. This is where
Scaling
the
up with the
entire
scaling up of business, it is not possible to scale up the solution.
scalability is the primary reason why Salesforce beats any of these CRM solutions. So there's something called as a Gartner Magic Quadrant, which basically rates these organizations and these products on a scale. Salesforce has been topping the Gartner Magic Quadrant for almost a decade now. I personally, if you ask me, I don't even say that we we as in Salesforce also competes with the like of solution like Zoho's. Salesforce does not compete into that league. If you probably put Salesforce against a Microsoft Dynamics or a SAP BIBO, it might fall into that league. But the other solutions like Zoho's and Lead Squared, I don't think that this is something which Salesforce competes with. For a simple reason is when we talk about Salesforce as a solution, this is basically encapsulating everything onto one single platform. Tomorrow, we'll take a very simple example. Now, one thing which we need to also understand is in terms of ERPs and CRMs, there is a very basic thin line of difference between the two solutions. Salesforce can never be an internal ERP solution for you. ERP solution essentially is a solution which takes care of your entire accounting part, if I may say so. I'm not exactly accounting as well, but again, building of ledgers, reconciliation of invoices, this is something which an accounting system would take care for you, which Salesforce does not do for you. So if you ask me if you can replace SAP as an ERP with Salesforce, no, you cannot do that. It is not advisable to do that. There is a system which is built for a specific thing. You should always use that for that particular purpose. Salesforce as a solution is something which is basically a front-ending solution. You would always need a backend for running this particular solution. So the
Okay,
answer to your
fine.
question is what people fail to understand right now is in terms of scalability, in terms of growth. And what happens is, let's say 5 years, 10 years down the line, they are in a situation wherein they cannot go back and change the solution. I have had numerous cases, numerous encounters with customers in the past wherein I've replaced successful solutions like Zoho's and Freshworks of the world for a simple reason. Couple of years prior to this, they were not ready to believe this part that probably we can engage and we can initiate growths in an exponential manner. But now that we are standing at that stage, probably a solution like a Freshwork or a Zoho is not able to serve that purpose. Tomorrow, if I want to, let's say, for example, run my sales and service campaigns onto one single platform, I don't think there is any solution in the world that can help us with that apart from Salesforce. So this is one reason
Absolutely.
why this particular tool is again helping customers.
Okay. Yeah,
Perfect. So I
thank you.
think this is what I wanted to talk about today. There are a couple of case studies in place for which we have helped customers in. I'm sure most of you might have heard of the name Hero Cycles, which is a part of the Munjal group, BML Munjal. So Hero is one customer of Salesforce, which is a multi-cloud customer for Salesforce. When I say multi-cloud, essentially sales automation, customer service automation, maintaining their entire channel sales process in terms of dealers and distributors, all of these processes are being done onto the Salesforce platform for them. So they have three different units called as Hero. One of them is Electro. I'm sure a couple of you might have heard of that, which is their e-bikes. And then, of course, Firefox. So these three different business units are functioning onto one single CRM solution, that's Salesforce. One such hospitals in the NCR region is called Artemis, which is based in Gurgaon. Artemis, again, as a hospital, these guys are using Salesforce for managing their entire international and domestic sales. And then, of course, apart from this, they're also leveraging the AI ML functionalities of Salesforce in terms of WhatsApp bots. Hindware is one organization which is into building materials. I'm sure a couple of you might have seen Hindware in your homes as well. So Hindware is also leveraging Salesforce for their entire channel sales process and of course their field sales process, which is the FOS, field on street. So these are again mere examples of enterprise customers wherein Salesforce has been implemented and it is being used currently. So I think with this, I would call it a day from my side. If at all you guys have any questions for me, please feel free.
Yes, students, do we have some questions? Ayush sir is here to answer. Okay, Jasmine.
So I have one question. Since data privacy and security has been a very major issue, how does Salesforce take care of that?
So, Jasmine, there's a very simple answer to this. Uh, we, as implementation partners, do not have access to Salesforce's internal data. Salesforce data resides on their own servers, to which, matter of fact, in the internal employees at Salesforce also do not have access to such databases. Also, just to help you understand, major banks of the world, SBI, Bajaj Finserv, Standard Chartered, all of these banks are using Salesforce for their internal, banking and non-banking services. So, regardless of that, nobody has access to any of the data in terms of, access rights. So I think this is something which Salesforce has been very specific with. Matter of fact, if at all you get time, there's a website called as trust.salesforce.com. You should definitely give it a try once. I think that will help you, clear all these doubts.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Guys,
Ayush,
what I'll
if
do
we compare,
is,
yes, Ayush, if we
sorry,
compare
sorry.
Salesforce with Microsoft Dynamics or Microsoft 365, so which one do you think is having more potential?
Ma'am, I've worked for almost 6 to 7 odd years now on this particular platform. So I'm an evangelist for Salesforce. I
Okay,
have
okay.
beaten Microsoft at multiple places. I have replaced Microsoft at multiple places. So there are multiple reasons for that. I'm not saying that Salesforce is one solution which anybody should look forward to. As an organization, as an IT consulting organization, that's where we come into picture. It is not necessary that a Salesforce would serve solution to all your problems. I think it all depends upon customers to customers. What kind of use cases are we looking at? What kind of problem statements are we looking at? And then probably we arrive at a situation that this is the perfect fit for you at the moment.
Okay, okay. Uh, I think that's it. Ayush, thank you. Thank you. It is such an insightful session for me as well. I have also learned a lot of things, like I have learned lift and shift of data. So that is something new for me. I'm going to use this in the class. And also, I got to know about the DAR approach, which you have talked about. That's dashboard analysis and reports. So I have taken some notes from your session. Thank you. Thanks a lot um, for your knowledge sharing session. And I'm sure many of the students will get benefited from this. Thank you. And we are looking forward to host you in Amity University. We are so nearby,
Absolutely,
so
ma'am. It would be
anytime
a pleasure.
you can come and interact with our students. Right now,
Absolutely.
actually, freshers is going on parallelly. So some of them are
Mhm.
busy with freshers also. They are the host for freshers, being the senior students. So that is why the class was less interactive. But I'm sure if you will come to the campus, you will talk to them one to one. You will find them very creative and very enthusiastic about their startups and about the usage of technology. So most of them are very tech savvy and very versatile that ways.
Guys, I'll tell you something. I was in similar shoes couple of years back. So all of this at the moment right now might not seem relevant to you. I've also interacted a lot of webinars. I put myself on mute. I was probably sipping a soda or something. But believe me when I say this, these informations do come in handy at times. There would be a time when you would be sitting for your campus placements and
Yes,
having
absolutely.
information about such hot shots of the current ecosystem in terms of the technologies that we are using right now. I think this was always come in helpful. If at all you guys are looking for a career into consulting, management consulting, I think something is what probably most of you resonate with. If this is something which you're looking forward to, I think I'm always reachable at my email address. I'll probably share it with Dr. Ruchi Jain. You guys can come and probably interact with her on that part. So let's connect sometime on this. If at all there is a question for me, I'll be more than happy to help you guys on this.
Okay, for sure. Ayush, if I'll receive any question for you, I'll forward it to you.
Perfect, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayush. I'm
Thank you so
stopping
much.
recording the session. And thank you. Thank you once again. We would like